I'm a real fan of having fun. So I like to have fun. And so I was in a chat room and this morning, and I was trying to have fun on a demo with somebody, and I just was like, hey, let's just let's take this trade here, boom, and then started to talk about. I'd start running through the time frames with this person. And I'm thinking, well, they seem to be pretty adept and skilled. Like, just run through some time frames and just let's just fuck around. Well, apparently this person's trading real money. They got a whole trade plan planned out, and for some reason, they take supposedly my idea, which I don't know. My idea was to put some buy limits in, but the market went down. So apparently I'm wrong about that trade or something like that. You know how that goes. So, well, here comes the freak out, because I shouldn't list this. I get this all the time now. So I'm unless you're sharing a screen with me, and we're sitting there looking at the same thing. I can't drive a car with you. I can't go down, like, if you're in the other car and you're saying, well, how come you're turning there? What are you doing there? It's too frustrating. It's insane. I can't do it. Besides, I'm just trying to exchange ideas, okay? So if you adopt my idea, because maybe it appeals to you. I don't know. You don't have, like, there's a lot of ideas out there. I've seen a lot of what you would think is a good idea. That sounds good. Now, how do you scale that idea? Like, it sounds a good idea to build a bicycle. Okay, are you going to build it out of platinum? Like, how much is this bicycle going to cost, by the way? So all this idea stuff, like, I listened to you. So it just was one of those things. You just have to say, no, can't do it. Can't talk to people that are going to blame me for an idea that did I put a gun to their head? Apparently I was too persuasive a person or something. I must have hypnotized them. I'm hypnotized. What you're saying sounds so rational. I think I'll try that. So, it's just not good, because now if we're both on demo and we're test driving shit and we know we're on demos and we just don't give a flying fuck and we can jam. This is what I like to do, is jam. So a lot of the bands that I played in, I couldn't handle it when they said, well, we're going to play this really thought out song. We're going to box this bitch in. We're going to make this a real song. It's going to have an intro. It's like, well, you're kind of killing the fun of jamming. So I look at trading as jamming. Like, hey, look at this. Let's get in here. Hey, look at that. Wow. Hey, turn up your gain. Wow. We come in. Hey, I like to think on the fly. So, it's so difficult to, I'm looking at a screenshot the person posts, and I'm criticizing the sizing, because I just trade 1Ks on this fucking thing on a demo on the fucking YouTube-ness. And so it's just, everybody should be responsible for their own trading, right? But no. And just because I'm making money here trading with scripts, there's no magic in that. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm going to buy here. I'm going to buy that. How big am I buying? 1K. Okay, I'm buying a 1K. I'm talking to people that are trading like 9K, hedging, this going on, that going on. I'm just talking to them. And the other guy I wasn't even talking to. I was just typing in the window, and he just comes, just a wrath of, you said this and you said that. I'm like, dude, life is contextual. So this morning I was trying to talk to the person about dual time frames. Now, this is just the oldest story in the book. You have the daily chart and you're looking at the 5-minute. Where are you going to get into this trade? I'm trying to figure out what the person's doing. I don't know. But does it matter? That's not the environment anybody should be in. If you're trading real money, I don't care where you're at. If you're in a chat room and you cannot trade real money while talking to somebody who is on the other side of that trade, going the other way, but for some reason you think they must know what they're doing because they've published books. I mean, you can only fucking imagine. If the guy that wrote the book about fucking this, that, or the other fucking thing was in the chat room, you know how many people would piggyback his trades and blow up their account? Yeah, because they don't realize that he's got backup plans. He's got stops that are tight for this, stops that are wide for that. He's got everything all orchestrated. He's got a buy at the market key. He's got a stop key. He's got a limit key. He's on one currency. He's on maybe, like I'm on the yen here, really. It's all about the yen here. 5-minute charts. 2 5-minute charts in the yen, right? I can get my brain around this. I know my limitations. A man's got to know his limitations, right? Dirty Harry. And you got to tap out sometimes because people just, they're not helping each other, right? It's, people are pissed off. People are angry. Not to mention the fact that I just trade all day long, right? I'm always trading. That's all I do. I don't have another, I'm not going out to get a cup of tea or whatever that stuff is. So there has to be a trade plan for when you go out to get a cup of tea. There has to be some orders, and that's why I have the order banks. I can put a scalp bank in. I can put a cluster order in deep, a little nodule, a little iceberg order, a baby iceberg order. Okay, that I could do that. I'm not saying anybody should do that out there. Anything I'm saying in here, don't even fucking think about doing it. My disclaimer is at the beginning of what I'm doing, don't any man try. So, anyways, you have to go there though, right? You have to go to the camp out. I was up north once, and I was out and I was in hillbilly land. Let's just say, okay, I was in hillbilly land, and so I'm at this campfire, and we're playing there, right? And I've got professional music gear, and we sound good. I mean, the guy in drums, who's another career alcoholic friend of mine, I had to cut off my list of people I talked to years ago, out of his fucking mind. Good drummer though, of course, right? They're hand in hand. So we jam and we play and everything. These guys love us so much that when we come into the fire thing, we had some people that were like hassling us, and these hillbillies are like, well, we know what to do with them. And I thought, oh my God, don't kill them. So it was really kind of creepy. It was like the hills have eyes for a minute, and so you put yourself in those situations and you realize, you're just not cut out. Like the most awkward thing is when you're in the hillbilly rally, in the hillbilly campfire, bonfire, or is it bonfire? I don't understand that. Bonfire is more like it because every now and then a little spark flies off there and hits your hair and you catch a fire. But the thing is that the people step into protect you and all that stuff. So, I've done these videos and stuff, and people are like defending my outrageous ideas, apparently, because it's just, right, it's too much. The idea is too much. But these ideas, that people have, when I think about jamming, say you play a guitar lick and I'm like, oh, I got an answer to that lick. I kind of like this volley kind of banter idea. I don't like, and the idea that, I don't know, it's just, if there's money involved, it's a problem. Now, this is why trading's difficult in the first fucking place, because money's involved. And I'm always curious when I talk to people, like, well, so what you want to trade full time? Oh yeah, I want to make X a year and I want to quit my day job. And I'm like, but this is such a fucking day job, dude. Like, buy right now. Okay, I'm just gonna say buy right now. Can anybody see that on the chart? Does anybody see the buy right now? Okay, buy at the market. Boom, right now. Right, you got it? Boom. So that's what I said this morning to this guy. I got so frustrated. Just fucking buy right now. And I was just like, oh my God, like I just want to, like I want to show you what I'm thinking very quickly. And I don't really give a fuck if it happens or not. But if I'm in front of the opportunity, if I'm sitting there in front of the opportunity with somebody, and I'm like, hey, come here, hey, check this, hey, check out this guitar lick, right? The excitement. I guess I'm too enthusiastic of a trader. Okay. I'm too much of a trading junkie apparently to hang with people that are like casually trading it or something. And so that was another frustration. So all these frustrations come up, you know, and you have to just tap out because the older you get, the less you can tolerate, apparently. I just have to say, I'm coming to the point where I kind of realizing this fact, this fun fact, maybe not fun fact of life, maybe this unfun fact of life, or this cold reality of life, that, you know, I'm not cut out for like having a compromised situation like that. I would rather be in a room with somebody and go, see what I'm doing, see what I'm doing right here. See my coffee cup. Okay, I'm taking a sip. Instead of they go, what are you doing now? You know, so it's really like, well, and what are you thinking? Like, it's just impossible. So that was, you know, like it's really, and this is why people apparently charge for trade. I could never charge somebody for trading. You couldn't pay me enough. I'd blow my brains out. I'd just say, wow, you know. Like I would only because of my compassion that I'm ruining them. Okay, I'm ruining them. Maybe they're designed to be like, say, I'm ruining like when I fed the birds, I thought I'm ruining Mother Nature. I'm intervening on Darwin should just everything should just go on its own. And detachment and Buddhism is just apparently where I have to be. I cannot be in a compromising situation. The market's plenty of fun to trade, but when you can't agree on what you're fucking looking at, that's a problem. When you're talking to somebody and they're looking at something and you're like, what are you looking at? Like, what? Like, huh, what? Now, that's a problem, right? That's always going to, so you say, hey, see it moving? Okay. See what's happening? Okay. Now the one on the right's a buy now. The one on the left's kind of like, the people already came in and sold it. And everything's happening in such a just such a subtle world of that, right? It's a subtle world. See, they just trapped these fuckers on the left. That was a baby little buy. Look, they just cashed out. This is a buy on pullbacks, right? We got buy stops in here. The fucking thing's not even running. This broker's not letting me place any more orders. See, it's locked me out for some reason. I don't even know. It's fucking demo. See, now I'm in this with real money, but I can't experiment with real money, right? A little bit, but why would you do that? And this kid that would not trade demo, it's just too much. I don't want to be responsible. I don't want to be responsible for somebody blowing up their fucking account. Even if they were paying me to fucking say, okay, right here, see? But who can't see this fucking trade? Who can't see when the market's going down? Who can't see when the market's going up? Are you going to keep hitting that button? You're going to figure out what you can tolerate for a loss. I'm about trading. This channel's about simple trading, right? Simple thinking, I think. So is the market like, what time? And then another thing is that, like I said, what time are you trading it? Are you going to wake up at 3 a.m. and trade that? Do you know how to trade the quiet markets? Do you know how to trade the loud markets? Do you have a trade plan for those situations, those opportunities? See now on the right, it's too late to buy it, in my opinion. Now, what a chase is for me may not be a chase for somebody else. Now, I don't chase markets. And so this trade today that this guy was, he took the trade off. This is ridiculous, right? And besides, if you don't have a trade plan for the other part of that trade, like, that's the second time that's happened to me where somebody says, I should have just stuck with my idea, right? You're full of shit. Basically, you're full of shit. I listened to your shit and you're full of it. And I did your trade, and I'm like, but you're full of shit because prove to me that you would have done what you said you were going to do and the whole thing would have played out, and somehow that's going to fucking matter. And so when I was talking to the guy, what really pissed me off was, I'm like, is this the only trade you can ever do in your life? You're on demo, right? Like, what the fuck? Dude, really? So he came unwrapped, but these are young people. And then I realized I can't be with young people anymore. To be with somebody my own age. This is what my parents used to tell me. When I was a kid, they said, be with somebody your own age. And this is like, I was hanging out with the people older than me, right? I guess my parents didn't want me to get molested, but I don't know if it was hot enough to get molested at my age. Maybe I wasn't pedophile material. I don't know. But see, these realizations, and the thing is that it's just, you're not doing it. Look at these buy stops started filling. I don't know what's going on here. Anyways, but you can see what I'm saying. It's going up. Fuck the trade. I'm not going to be able to show somebody what I'm doing, apparently. Only through video. And you'd have to screen share with me on Skype, seriously, if you ever want. There's people that I do that with that aren't, apparently they're older. We have an age limit now. We have a chat room with an age limit. So it's just, you can't, right? Because it's just, you're doing more harm. They say first thing is do no harm. This is what they would say, right? So, can you buy a triple bottom? And I'll just go through. I guess I'm going to continue with the thought I had, the bad idea I had earlier. But my question is, like, could you have bought here and got stopped on in this wick? Yes, but the thing is that the market's going to do wicks like that, right? Do you have trade plans for everything that's happening on the screen is what I'm saying. Maybe not. But I think you should. On the 5-minute chart, I think you should be able to trade the 5-minute chart. I think you could learn so much on the 5-minute chart about how the market behaves and when it's so dramatic, right? So that's when I'm talking to somebody, I say, let's look at the 1-minute chart. Let's do this right now. Let's go through the rhythm of the market. Let's listen to the beat. Let's listen to the market. Let's try to get in this jam. When I'm watching somebody, when I put on a disc, I put on a CD sometimes, and I listen to it and I go, holy shit. I just listen to Sade. I have to break out my guitar and just shred on top of her because there's so much space there asking to be filled. And see me, I just see space here asking for orders. I see space asking for orders is what I see. So that's how I view the market. And since I'm over trading, that's my skill set. That's why I'm fucking trading 1Ks. Okay, so now you want to trade the 5Ks and 8Ks and stuff like that, fine. But don't, like I said, I'm not talking. I quit. I quit trying. Here you can comment and bitch about all my ideas at the bottom bank of the thing. All you want. It's great. Tell me you got my head up my ass sideways without lube, fine. But it's too much to have somebody come unwrapped in front of you and start to, go into the realm of the blame game for. But I guess this is what happens, right? You're looking at you have a generation of. It's just the world's too wealthy. People used to live till like 30 years old, man. They used to die. There's people that are 30 years old now. So my friend down the street, he's 35 now. We were friends. Can't be friends anymore. He's on to some. He's just. The welfare state has created so much. I guess you just have to call it atrophy or whatever, toxicity, whatever. People that they don't really need. There's no need to perform. So I'm a performer, right? I'm sitting here bitching on YouTube. I'm a performer. I'm a director, producer. I'm an asshole. All those people are assholes. So but I'm not in denial. I'm not trying to be polite. That's just. I could care less if every friend I have just dumped me. I don't give a fuck. This guy, I just had the drummer invite me back into his life. Hey, the studio's ready to... Dude, I can't. I can't. It's like trading with somebody. Can't do it. Never going to agree. Okay, sellers are coming in here, by the way. So I'm never gonna agree. You getting out of this trade? Sellers are coming in. This is the only question in my mind. Getting out of the trade? Sellers are coming in. No, I'm staying in for... How long are you going to be in the fucking trade? I asked the guy, how long are you going to be in the trade? Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's too much, right? It's too much. Too many questions. Just trying to have fun. Free association, but money's involved. Fuck, there you go. Pissed off. So the go down to the bar. You know, this thing about going to the bar, unless it's an angry drunk, you go to the bar, you sit down there and chat, right? Shoot the breeze, as I call it. But this is how I like to live, right? I like to jam a little bit. Hey, that's a good jam. You know, you might write a song out of that jam, but first let the jam happen. Let it have fun. Have fun trading on demo. Just dance with the market, right? Dance with the devil a little bit. We couldn't get that one guy to trade in demo. That's what actually had me prepped, right? So I reached my limit. I'd already had that punishment of a guy that he doesn't even. It's incredible, but that's what you're dealing with, man. But that's fine. Let them go. Let them go to. What I would recommend to people like this is go watch Dr. Van Tharp. I'll put the link in the thing here. Dr. Van Tharp on risk, right? So, very droll sounding guy. But that's it. I mean, it's about risk. Your ideas are bullshit. All ideas are bullshit unless they're taken. I mean, an idea is a concept in your head, by the way. It's not a weapon. It's not a. There's an idea war there right now. Look at these fucking cunt fucks down in goddamn tearing down statues like little fucking. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing, you know. The people are so fucking infantile. It's infantile. Okay, so it's infantile, right? It's fucking infantile. They need their bottle, right? And so it's that world. This is the world you're in. And that's the world I'm in. So I try to avoid that world. And you can do that. I can sit here and I'm probably going to do some... When winter comes, I'm going to start drawing and shit. Just as a meditation. I actually want to finish some of these things I did art-wise. They look actually really good compared to digital art. I try to do some digital art. Actually, digital art's really tough sledding with a mouse. But the ultimate is to take real stuff and then take it to the digital domain. So the analog to the digital, to me, is the hybrid is the ultimate. And so trading, it really has that. You can have an idea and you can press a button. Idea, button. Button, idea. Well, you know, real money, real time, show up, trade. So the other problem this morning was I said, well, you're here right now. Oh, I only want to come back every half hour and look at the chart. Okay, great. I didn't know that. We're talking. I'm looking at the thing. I'm not going to sit here and come back every half hour. I'm going to take a look at the chart. I thought we could have some fun and discuss the chart. So that you can't do that, right? And so you nearly have to, anybody that wants to show somebody how to, here, buy on the right, there's a buy on the chart on the right, see the buy on the chart on the right. Anybody that wants to, this is a buy on the one on the left too. Anybody that wants to show somebody how to trade should probably have them in the fucking room. I did that with somebody. I had this girl and I could have showed her how to trade. But actually, I don't know any traders in the flesh. That's why I'm the fucking internet. So I meet people, you know, in these digital environments where you really can't say, you see my finger on the trigger? You see I'm about to cash out of this. You see I'm about to do this. Not that the way I play guitar is any better than the way somebody else plays guitar, but we all know how to play guitar, right? We all know how to trade. The rhythm of the market is the cycle, the Hearst cycle, whatever you want to call it. Okay, that's oscillation of the market. But 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 now there's a rhythm. Whether you choose to be participate in the rhythm of the market is one thing. Now, you could just participate in the landscape of the market. So music has melody, right? And the melody is this squiggly line, say. Well, the backdrop for that has to be, well, in the kick drum, I always say the kick drum is the price pulse. Up, down, right? Nice rhythm here. Anybody got rhythm? That one guy almost took yeah, see, now here's the buy, right? We're going to buy here. So let's buy this with real money, right? Real money scalps, boom, boom, boom. We're going to buy, this broker's not working right now, but imagine, boom. And see, here's the top become a bottom. Shit, just fucked that up. So here's your buy, right? But you buy when it's pulling back, and here you bought. But that's it, you stop buying. Stop buying. That idea has just expired, right? So ideas have their place, you plug them in. And so you plug your idea into a situation, and that idea is just a perfect fit for that one moment in time. But the idea of, playing chromatically, I used to, when the band, I would say to the guitarist, because I'm a risk taker. I'm a big risk taker. So I said to the guitarist, let's play in the key of Chromania, which I meant, let's just fucking go nuts. Let's make it sound bad on purpose. So he was cracking me up because he would just go out. He's a really good guitarist. He's getting better, actually. Now I would hook up and jam with him, right? But the other guy, now I see what happens with these bands. People get old and they're like, I can't do it anymore. Sorry, you're out of your fucking mind. So that whole thing, I think these orders here, I put them in during the spread was wide. So those are stuck inside even though they let me try inside the spread here, I think they got trapped inside. But see, that's the tolerance levels, right? The tolerance levels people have, and the stress people that put themselves under to make money trading and to have not a carefree state of mind and relax and say, you know what? I don't have ass cancer. I should relax on this trade. I mean, that's tough, right? Especially if you're trying so hard. And the harder you try to make money, the more frustrating it is. And so if you can adapt to the market's behavior, so to speak, and meet it on its terms and its session, the way it behaves in sessions, and people would say, well, I don't like to trade Asia because, it's kind of quiet, but, okay, I got that, but it's not like you couldn't make 3 pips, right? And how many pips could you have made if you bought here and dumped here? Okay, you just made 20 pips, right? It's only 20 pips. But, okay, you bought here, you bought here, you bought here. You had limit grids down here. So I'm saying plan your trade in advance. Now, at this time of day, it's going to be quiet. So you can put in an order bank here, right? For like an hour, 3 hours, 2 hours, and you make money on that move. And so there you go, bingo, bango, right? You make money on that move, and then maybe you do have a market order key that you only use when you see that kind of opportunities. So I say that there's more than one way to skin a cat. There's this idea, God bless the limit grid, but you can also trade at the market. You can build a position, buy. So the person's asking me, in a sense, to say, well, I do this or I do that. You can do it all. All ideas are good. All ideas matter. All ideas matter. But what's happened is people think in particulars instead of concepts. They think in the particular. Oh, so what's your strategy? I've got so many that, I mean, right? I have a market order strategy, I have a limit strategy, I have a stop strategy, I have a risk strategy. They're all layered on top of each other, aren't they? Like when you drive your car, don't you have a strategy for bad drivers? You flip them off, right? I used to have a fast car, and I would get really miffed. So this is the young thing also, the anger that young people have. Because you get frustrated because you want to get ahead in life. You want to get on with your life. But see, us old people, we're just grumpy. We don't give a fuck. So it changes when you get older. You change how you're not chasing anything anymore. I guess I'm not even chasing the market anymore. I'm just letting it come to me and fill me. And I could do a bad market order. I could put on a bad trade. I could put in a bad. I can. Not every trade. Another thing is, you got to realize not every trade is going to be a winner. And if the one that you lost on, you happen to be talking to somebody at that time who's distracting you, so you're gonna. So your idea, your trading idea, is infiltrated my mind. I just don't. I don't know if that's really a valid defense, because like if I'm driving my car and I look over at your car and I'm like, I start to drive my car like it's a Porsche because my car is like a rickety old car, and I look at your car and I start to do like try to steer it back and forth and show off and act like I have a Porsche. So then I wipe out and then I go, fuck, man, like I looked at your Porsche and it was so cool that I just kind of like thought, God, what if I drove this like it was a Porsche? But nobody's going to be able to handle somebody else's car. Right? It's going to take them a while to get orientated. So if you adopt somebody's idea, at first, like this is the old diet plan thing, right? Only do this. It's like I tried that. I just got fatter. That idea doesn't work. Well, maybe you did it at the wrong time of day or something. So you have to do something over and over, repetition, and there's no really workaround for the hard work of life, right? For the dealing with uncertainty and dealing with unhappiness and dealing with loss and dealing with schedules and dealing with showing up to work. So the idea that trading is some kind of like, I don't have to show up. Well, you don't if you placed a bunch of limit orders and you can see where all the holes are in the market that you're expecting to fill and retrace, and presupposing you have the patience to wait 16 hours to get paid. These are all the things, right? The checklist is, can I wait 16 hours to get paid? Can I wait 16 minutes to get paid? And then you talk to people and they say, well, I only want to be in the market for like 5 seconds and make a bunch of money. Well, okay. But you can see how that trade plan would look. Really big, really like, you're going to get out in like 8 pips. You're gone. 10 pips, you're gone, right? Big position. Big flash trade. But if you're going to like trade pretty conservatively, like little trades, get in here, except being in the market incrementally, I would say, is my favorite thing, is to be in a piece of music. Like, so I'm playing in the band, right? And the band's playing and I want to play a guitar solo typically because I just want to rant on top of what they're playing, right? And I'll just sit there and I kind of noodle a little bit, but the key is to listen. Now, this has always been a problem with the jazz people are good at listening. And they don't want to come in. And so they wait. And they see their spot. And they're like, okay, I could just put a little accent in here and there. And they just kind of like, if the tapestry is really nice, they don't want to like ruin what's already been woven, so to speak. I think trading is the same thing. You know when to come in. You know when they're going to come into your part of the song there. So you got your orders in the market, you got limits in there, and okay, here comes the band, right? They're going to create a space there, and you can trade at the market now, right? Because you see the space opened up. right about here, I can see where the downbeat is. I'm going to start my note. So what I would do is, since I didn't know what key they were in, I would play one beat behind them to kind of come in, and I'm on beat, but I'm one beat behind because I have to read the next key they're going to go into, right? Because they're changing key continuously. So that was my trick, was to airstroke the downbeat where they change. So I just drop out, come back in on the beat, and they think that I'm just coming in as an accent, like after the fact. So people can't tell that I don't know where the fucking song's going. So I'm doing that in the market. It's like jump rope. Waiting for that window to get into the jump rope. So is that a skill set? I think it is for trading at the market. I think it is for if you're going to babysit the chart and stuff. And is it a skill set to put orders at key levels, baskets of orders at key levels that may never fill? Now, this is the problem with that is that you're not participating so much in the market. It's a passive entry, kind of like a buy stop. If I put a buy stop 2 pips above price right now, it's kind of like a market order. But if I put it 10 pips above price, I'm saying, you know what? Unless the market really goes up, I don't want to be involved. In other words, it has to go with such velocity momentum, then I'll get in. But if you're looking at the 5-minute chart and you can see a opportunity that's forming real time in front of you, then the part of you wants to participate in there, and the other part of you realizes that maybe you're seeing something. Well, hopefully you at some point realize you're seeing something that's not there, but you don't want to miss what you think might be there. So you have to have at least 1K that you buy at the market. Now, people say, well, how would you ever make money trading a 1K? You don't. It cures your fear of missing out. It cures the nagging voice in your head like, you should probably get in here. You should probably get in here. Okay, I got in. Shut the fuck up. Right? There's 2 people in your head, right? There's you, and then there's all the shoulds and all the stuff that you've been told and all the stuff like that. Don't do this. Don't do that. Oh my God. I'll never make back the money I lost. Oh my God, I'll never be. Now, you can make back the money you lost. And it's funny because that's about the only thing in life you can do is make back the money you lost. Everything else is totally fucked and gone. If you burned a bridge, and I think I don't want to say I've burned any bridges, but I've pretty much not revisited that bridge. I'm not a guy to burn bridges. People burn those for me. They get all pissed at me, and then that's it. And that's a beautiful thing. That's actually the best. The one last cycle babe I was with, she said to me, well, why did you do that? And I go, because I knew you'd get mad at me, and then we would I could get rid of you. And I didn't do anything bad. I can't remember what I did. I don't even know what I did. I don't even know what I did, but I think I wasn't compliant or something. And I didn't beat her about the face and neck or anything, but so I didn't touch her. It was a psychological thing. It's always psychological. It seems people really like all these pussies down in Virginia or whatever this pissing and moaning about a statue, and then they have time. What I find amazing, this is what just kind of crushes me. They have time to dick around with protest signs. Like, really? How come you're not scalping on the 5-minute chart? What is wrong with these people? Right? What the fuck is wrong with these people? But yeah, that's what you're dealing with. So, I don't know. We just have to do our own thing, as they say. And we risk what we risk, We can make our money back, but we can't get back the past. And time is going forward, right? So time's coming at us forward. and we don't have this. We can reminisce. Remember that one trade I was in? See, now, but that can happen again. Whereas I can't really say for this point, this hot babe I was with, I knew at one point in the relationship, as I looked up through the skylight, as we lay on the bed together, I said, yeah, this is probably as good as it's going to get. So I actually was sad. At the happiest moment, I was sad because I knew that was the end, that was as good as it was going to get. Because after that, I mean, the girl's nuts, but hot and nuts. So that's all that mattered, right? So I knew that was that was inconceivable. Like the most dreamland relationship is really a dream, because you typically would, in those situations, projecting on the person the most romantic backdrop that your imagination can possibly come up with, just like you do on the fucking charts, right? And you see that. So there's really the romance of the chart, like the opportunities that exist, right? It's like, but it can be a bad relationship, right? It can turn out to be that relationship from hell, so to speak, right? Like she's hot, but she's one nutty critter, right? She's one nutty nut job. And so that's what we always have to be careful of in life, is the total nut job, right? Oh, she's nuts, all right. Bless her heart. And, but it's all good. That's what the kids say. That's what they used to say. Not to mention, I'm just so old now that I can only talk to myself. I only understand my own references. Yeah. I don't find it lonely at all. It's funny, I actually got rid of my last wife. I thought, okay, yeah, I felt like they say divorce, why does it cost so much? Because it's worth it. But my inability to get along with others comes from my childhood. I was sent to my room quite a bit as a child. Go to your room, and then I thought, hey, I kind of like this go to your room shit. I think I could live here. So anyways, but yeah, it's, like I said to the guy that was, the first guy that was berating me for, thinking I knew what I was doing. I said to him, make a video, right? Make your own video. Start your own YouTube channel. See what punishment it is. But for me, it's just, like Mark Douglas says, you have a psychological need to express yourself. So what the problem there is that in the market, your expression would come out in bad ways. Like if you're angry, you might anger trade, you might oversize, and you might overtrade. So all the things that come up to you in normal life would come up to you in that life, and in that situation, you'd have the problem of the playing out emotional things when the market's open, whether you're scared or whether you're even the euphoria of winning, and you're like, wow, I'm like seriously up on this trade. And then if you get out, so you got out of that trade, the pain you may endure because you got out of something that turns out to be a huge winner, depending on where your pain threshold is, that can be as painful as not getting in on that trade. It can also be as painful as blowing up the account. Those three pains: fear of leaving money on the table, fear of missing out, and fear of losing. The three fears, right? And I think the way to address that is through the trade plan. And each trade plan would fit a certain category in your brain. What is this trade about? Is this my romantic trade where I'm going to put in a limit down and maybe somebody's going to come by and see me and take me home and fuck me or something. Right? The girl that wears the nice clothes, that are just so, it's like a piece of art, right? She's got her shoes match, her purse match, fucking. You go down to where they have the deer feeding, and not to mention there's deer. This rich neighborhood I go to, there's deer walking in the road. Hello, people. Get deer crossing signs or stop feeding the fucking deer. Get a deer reserve. But that's the problem, man. So I'm irritable. I'm very irritable, I guess. I'm a curmudgeon. I'm a very curmudgeonly. All right, so we're going to look for a retracement here on this thing, but in the meantime, it's got to be something. There's got to be a way to trade that is an entry level beginner's mind. Like, I don't have a problem with trading demos, I guess, because I want to act like, okay, I got an idea. I got a new idea. Let me test it out. And who's not testing shit out? Once you know how to play guitar and you get that scale down, don't you move to the next scale? Now, there's really the market doesn't know I exist. So unfortunately, when I say I'm jamming with the market, I'm kind of jamming with a CD like Sade. I put on a jam I want to learn, or I put on a jam, I put on a finished piece of music, professionally pressed, that I listen to, and I get on my guitar. That's how I learned to play guitar. Actually, I saw my neighbor doing that. Go to his house, and he's got a really beautiful Kramer metal neck, aluminum neck guitar, and he's playing jazz. The guy's an amazing guitarist. Fucking amazing. His parents wanted to be an attorney, right? Because he's a Jew. Got to be an attorney, kid. Got to be an attorney. Everybody in this family is an attorney. This poor kid, he's the most fluid guitarist I've ever heard in my life. Literally didn't even look at the guitar neck. He was just amazing. So his parents want, but I see him jamming at the house. He's playing with an album. I come in his room and he's like, oh my God. I'm like, you motherfucker, you're cheating. So I went home. I did the same thing. I couldn't stop doing it, right? Jam along with the album. Because he's putting on, I thought, well, I'm going to do that. And so that's when the market, you open the demo, jam along with the market. Okay, get in here, there, just practicing, just working on my game, as they say. I don't know what's wrong with that. It's not enough. People, I was talking to one trader. So we have the veterans were in there, but the one trader that I met from Italy, he's been trading 4 years, so he gets it, right? He understands that the emotional aspect, right? And you just kind of have to do it's just a real boring thing. So is making money. I don't think the day job that somebody has is very exciting, maybe, right? Or why would they want to quit their day job and go trade, right? So Mark Douglas says, if you're having a problem at your day job, you're going to have a problem at this job. It's a job. There's no like sitting on the beach with a Mai Tai. If you're in really big in it, how are you going to trade a really? You'd have to actually have a position that you're a swing trader at that point, right? You're a big position traders, trend trader. You have wide stops. That person has wide stops, but then people want to scalp. So I want to scalp, and I want to do this, and I want to do that, and they've got this list. How realistically can they fit that in? Is that a realistic idea or plan? Is a plan an idea? Right, it's all the same thing. As a concept and idea, it's all the same thing. But I don't think it's not like they say, the old joke about trading is that people make money at their business and lose it in another person's business. So if trading's not your business, if you don't like risk, or if you don't like not knowing what's going to happen, then, or if you love your day job, right? Say you're a doctor or something, or you're a bookkeeper, librarian, and something like that. You're content with your life. But the grass is always greener on the other side, twice as hard to mow. People typically look into the financial markets and think, well, that would be sweet. Like I tell you, my guitarist said he'd love to go to work with a coat and tie on, because he thought that's what the financial trading world was like. And I thought, well, you could just put a coat and tie on and trade. In fact, people do that. So they have this feeling like it's one of these mind games people can play. I'll put on a lucky hat. This is what people do that. They have their rabbit's foot, maybe they're trading with. So maybe this is how they make all that money. Well, read Trading Wizards. Right? Just read Trading Wizards and realize that you're going to have to, I can't, all I'm doing here is saying that I can semi-automate my trades. AEs, I'm done working with EAs, expert advisors. I don't have the time. It's taking up too much CPU. I know how to trade. I don't need any indicators. I know how to press a button, I guess I'm saying. I know how to take a risk. And I'm not going to blame anybody if somebody says to me, have you tried XYZ trade? And I say, like, I'm stubborn enough that I know nobody's going to persuade me on their trade plan. Guaranteed. In fact, I would just look at their trade plan and go, oh, like, what you're doing is ridiculous. I'm going to do the opposite. Right? I'm going to do whatever I can see the flaws in what I consider flaws in your trade system. I'm just going to trade you can't persuade me. You can't. You cannot. I know there's only 3 trades. Stop, entry, market, limit. There's only 3 trades on the planet. How can you persuade me? Oh, but I'm calling the direction, right? So we had the one guy that was, I'm making the market call. I'm such a genius. Wonderful. That's, can you make money on that trade though? All right. Can you make money on that trade? If you're trying to make, this would be only if you're trying to make money. Now, to prove that, you could have just run that on a demo, but that wasn't going to happen for that person. And I can't even watch that. I can't even listen to somebody talk like that. It's just like somebody, that's their hands are bleeding because they have them in the garbage disposal, but they won't pull them out. And they just sit there and go, my hands are bleeding. I'm like, yeah, but when are you going to take your hands out of the garbage disposal? Yeah, my flesh is being sheared off my bones. Okay, well, but no, not yet. In fact, because you're in the room with them, they would say, I'm only doing it because it's your fault. I mean, I've been in a relationship like that with somebody. Like this girl I was telling you about, she calls me from her cell phone in the middle of the lake, and it's on ice. And she's like, yeah, I'm in the middle of the lake. Come rescue me. Like, I'm going to kill myself. I'm like, oh, well, she's telling me she's going to jump off the deck. So I said, well, you're going to have to get a running head start because I'm not driving you to the hospital. Like, you better do a good job. And it seriously didn't, you're on your own, right? That's an idea you have. I'll actually champion your idea. So I'm going to actually cheer you on your idea. Go for it, baby. Go for it. And then, of course, this is what happened when you blow that up and come back to me and go, well, maybe your idea is better. Then you try my idea and you go, no, your idea sucks. Should stay with my idea. Okay, but this is ridiculous, right? So this is why it's just impossible when money's involved. And when in a relationship, your heart's involved, right? But that's like money. I remember when I was very first time in a relationship, I said, well, actually, my best friend and I used to say stuff like about being in relationships is that you kind of log time with that person. So you had this investment in you stacked up memories and stuff like that, and you have this kind of archive that is connected to them. And so that's actually in your head as a nice feeling. It's something that you have as a backing object of the relationship, and that you don't want to lose that relationship. You don't want to lose all of the artifacts the comfort artifacts you enjoy that relationship. Or maybe I think they call it codependent, right? You're leaning on each other's kind of weaknesses or whatever, maybe strengths, right? But the problem there is that if that person, something happened to that person, something's going to happen to you. So typically when married people, one of the people die, the other person dies. Because that was a part of them. They lost so much of themselves. They're reflecting themselves off that person for 50 years, say. Now the mirror's gone. Now what? You're fucked, right? You're really alone. I mean, if you've ever been alone, like if you've ever been in a relationship and then you're alone, you're really alone. Because now you notice you're alone. But after a while, you don't notice you're alone. Just like a train, you don't hear it anymore. And then you start to find that being alone is the only way you can survive. Because the world's too overwhelmed. Because people are too overwhelming. Only for me. Ever since I think I was a kid, I find things overwhelming. Too much. It's all too much. Because there's too much to do and life's too fun. So what do you do first, right? So these are and then of course, the market has got to be almost the worst place for certain types of, well, I guess behavior, maybe not personalities, because if you build your trade plan around, or you have to say trade plan or your risk plan around your personality, you know yourself well enough to protect yourself from certain kinds of trades that you're not good at, or certain types of, say if you're forcing the trade because you're like, I can see it's going to go up, so I'm going to buy here, and really it's not even pulled back enough, so to speak. Or it finally moves up, and now you start buying, and you're like, well, I got confirmations. You could have over confirmation. You get under confirmation. So I was talking to this person today, and they mentioned the word confirmation. Now, that's a deep word. That means so much. That does that mean, did you put a buy stop in? Does that mean that you saw something happen? So you came back and stopped people out, and I just saw confirmation of people getting stop hunted here. But if I'm already in the market because I got in too early, then I can't add anymore, right? Because I have to deal with the trade I'm in now and let them stop me out of that. Like if I got in too early. And you have to have a trade plan for every 15 minutes, say, right? I'm presupposing you're a full-time trader, or you're watching the market because you don't have some relationship you have to deal with. So this person I talked to, this one trader who he's trading, right? He knows how to trade. He said he had to give up other activities to trade. Yes, because if the market's open 24 hours and you know that you can trade the Asian session, or you know that you can trade the London Open, that's time you can't spend with people that just want to do, I guess I would just call it mental masturbation, or maybe they actually are, going for it. But I can't do that. Like, I'm not a small talk person. I can't go to a party and just talk about the weather with somebody. I have to just take them aside and say, well, what the fuck do you know? Here's what I know. Like, I just want to swap ideas with people. Hey, you ever heard of this? Yeah, I heard of that. Wow, that's great. It's the only way to, because if you go on the internet, the only way you can do that on the internet is you can type into Google, like, why am I so pissed off? And you have a forum, right? And you go to a forum or a thing, and in the olden days we went to like news groups, we BBS systems and download, and you kind of, your first contact with somebody else out there, that, because in the olden days we had to drive across town or we had to call somebody on the phone, and hopefully they were going to pick up the phone, and hopefully they had an answering machine. Now, these are things that some people didn't even have an answering machine. Like, you would literally, like, it's like living, I guess I'm so old. I'm living in an old movie, I think. This is another problem. I'm living in an old movie, so I'm expecting things to just be very simple. And that's why it's called Simpleton. Because I like that simplicity. I like that just, things are just, it's black and white. But see, that's all or nothing. So that's a dangerous, that's also there's a bunch of potholes and danger holes in trading. If a trade's working out, that's almost a bad thing. If it's working out, if you're making money and you didn't want it, and it's from an idea that's not supposed to make money, think of how torturous that is, right? So I take an idea, or I take a trade, a call, a market call. A market call is actually, I think, the reason why this person flipped out. A market call is not an idea. A market call is a prediction, right? I wouldn't call that. I wouldn't call it a concept. I'd call it a. This is going to happen. I'm preparing for this to happen, or I'm going to follow this sequence of events unfolding in a specific manner. So that's the problem, right? And then people would say, well, look at this guy. He's predicting the market. Amazing market. Like somebody once said to me, good call. And I thought, well, of course, only because the market just happened to go the way I thought it was going to go. It doesn't have to. It could still be going. In other words, when's it going to turn around? So the stock market, I thought it was topped out. I said, fuck, this thing's done. No, now it's distributing. Now the market's choppy. Something's up, right? Something's terribly up, right? And so the markets are, and look at Bitcoin at $2,400 a share or a coin. What the fuck's up? What the hell's going on here? We have a top bottom here on the 5. Look, walk down here. But I'm already in, so fuck it. See, I'm already in. Now, if you get in early, you can't add. I can't. I'm already in. I might add right now. Looks like a good trade right now, right? Quarter minute after, here comes the 50-minute trader. So let's scalp the 15-minute. Let's put a target in here of like, how about 8 pips, right? We're not greedy, right? This is 20 pip grid here I'm looking at. This is 40 pips here, right? 40 fucking pips here. And here we have, this is 60 pips here on the right side. 60 pips, here's 40. We're looking at about 40 pips here. So I'm babysitting this trade. I'm scalping. So we had the stop hunt on both sides, full auction today, and then we had the they took out the lows of last week, took out the high of the day. It's wick to wick. It's been a wick to wick day, and they just fell out of bed here in Asia. So this is a typical like stop hunt. This is a 20 pip. On the euro, it's going to be more, right? This is the dollar yen fall into the hole in here. So this would be the reversal entry. Right? You're buying that now that if that idea worked out, you made money here, you made whatever, how many orders you put into this dark pool. But now you're buying at the market because you see if you don't have enough if you're not in enough, and I bought at the market already earlier. So, right, I'm buying in, I'm building a position. Was I wrong to buy at the market when I started the video? Yeah. But guess what? I'm already in. Right, I'm already in. Plus, I got limits I just filled on. Right, I got limits sitting here because I know or I'm buying, but I'm not chasing now. Now it's going up. Let it go. Right, let her cry. Now we need to make that scalp to these guys here say, and of course this isn't wrong. I don't know what's wrong here. I got to delete these orders. Something's wrong. We'd try to take profits, but we'd have to cash out up here, right? Or we're going to sell there for a pullback. We're gonna sell a bounce off the ceiling there, right? Let me see if they're going to let me close all open and pendings here. But yeah, it's not easy. And then of course there was another guy there that wanted to talk to me, and I guess I left the chat room. He can call me on the Skype. He wanted to trade or something, and he didn't know the scripts and stuff. So I don't know who's got the scripts. And like, really, to me, it's just, I'm just trying to, I've made some headway. I've gotten, here, close all open and pendings. Just close them all out here, see if they let me. Yeah, I guess they're not letting me out of that trade. So for some reason, the brokers locked me into these positions. But anyways, it's just such a, like this girl Kate said, it's a personal thing. You can't, I don't think there's any way to show somebody how to trade. I think people just have to go sifting for the idea they want and go nail it. So it's no wonder with all the pomp and circumstance of ICT, obviously some people are going to have to go that way. That's their world, you know. They want to do that trade, and I don't want to do that trade. Right? I don't want to trade in that manner. So that's not for me. And I'm also not a Gartley pattern trader or all that stuff. For some reason, I cannot get this thing to close these fucking positions. But anyways, you see what I'm saying here. So we're going to have to scalp and go for a 50 pip target. So we scalped to here, and then we got 50 pip targets ahead, above. But I like to have fun. I just don't like it when it's, I'm not into serious stuff. One guy we had in the band who's, the poor guy's dead now, and we used to make fun of him because he had he's such a strict musician that the drummer had changed the beat once, like just sped it up a little bit, and he flipped out. And he says, if you keep changing that, I quit. And he went upstairs. He packed up his bass and he went upstairs. He was very pissed. So very serious musician. And he'd played in a professional band. And we weren't professional. We were just talented and really pretty much ridiculous. We didn't have a script. And we actually didn't believe in a script. We just thought, well, every day is different. It was just kind of like, we'll just trade at the market. Every day we'll trade at the market. Without stops, actually. So this kind of what fits you. This is the problem, I think. So people would watch a system, and some guy wrote me a letter saying that he tried to trade the empowered trading, but the ratios are bad. But you can actually write ratios that are too tight and never see your profits. So there's a balance there. You don't want to be like the guy that with a 5 pip stop, with a 50 pip stop to make 2 pips. Now there's something in between the two worlds, right? It doesn't have to be so ridiculous. I just think, honestly, as I think back on this, the guy with the 50 pip stop to make 2 pips, I honestly think this is like a psych ops or something. There's some type of, I hate to say this, I'm not a conspiratorialist, but I think he was hired by the government to get in my brain, to like get in my head. And I think that's what happened. So that's one girl I had that was out of her mind. She said, she was the gymnast girl, and she said that I don't want this guy renting space in my head. Yeah, she was out of her mind. And she had been to so many treatment centers that she had all the cliche lines. Like my favorite line of hers, this is a great line from either Alcoholics Anonymous or Needle Broke Off in My Arm Anonymous. But she said, everywhere you go, there you are. So every trade you take, there you are. Every trade you think about putting on, there you are. You're there. Scared out of your mind, pissed off. There you are. Hello. There you are. So that's the other problem with trading, is that you're doing it. Now, if you told somebody else to put that trade on, of course, you could blame them for bad execution, but then you got something to blame somebody for, right? I think this is so funny when I didn't pull the trigger on your trade, but apparently my persuasion, my logic and my persuasion is too, you're going to sue me for being, I hypnotized you. Like, can you imagine you go to court, well, Your Honor, this is what happened was, see, they were talking on Skype, they were talking in a chat room, and the defendant, you know, or whatever they call it, who's the guy that's hurt, right? He, the plaintiff, right? The plaintiff. That's right. The plaintiff is claiming that you, just out of your logic and reason, were able to persuade him to put on a bad trade. And then, so what's your answer to that? And I was like, well, Your Honor, okay, listen, I was not in the room, did not click the mouse. I'm just saying. So that would be, can you imagine, right? That's what's going to happen when gold goes down to $500 an ounce, right? The lawsuits. The guy from Knots Landing. I just heard him again on the. He's going to be as. How do these guys do it? Like, what is that gig? You get a paycheck for going on TV and selling mattresses or some shit. Yeah, I crash on these mattresses. They rule. Oh, dude, I had so much drool on my pillow. That mattress. Oh, Jesus. I think it shorted out the adjustment motors. Had so much drool. Slept like a baby. Do babies sleep good? They wake up crying. Everything's a fucking myth. Fuck the world. Everything's a myth. So that's always a good experience. Same thing with my Facebook friends. Out of their fucking mind. Bye-bye. Less is more, people. Get rid of your toxic friends. Just have a very small clutch of not are they acquaintances or friends. Of course, Facebook would lead you to believe what a friend is some person out of their fucking mind posting pictures of their sandwiches. But I guess it's the only time for somebody to actually be somebody. Like the old movie, The Jerk, where Steve Martin is looking at this picture in the magazine. It's a guy with an umbrella drink, and he goes, bring me one of those drinks, because I'm rich now. I want to be that guy. And so there's no gold at the end of the rainbow. There is no pot of gold. Because everywhere you go, there you are. You're going to be there too. You're going to be there when you get to the end. There's no escape from your... So trading's a job. You have a job. You want to quit your job. You want to trade. Now you got a new job. That's worse than your other job, because this one has a boss that is mentally deficient. Obviously, the market doesn't understand where it needs to go. I can see where it needs to go. What the fuck is wrong with these markets? Why is it still going up? When's it going to stop going down? Why is it going up and down? Why is it all choppy? It's a pretty rugged area if you step into it with a big, like a big boat. Say you had your bathtub instead of having your little baby boat. Say you put a yacht in your bathtub. Can you imagine the damage that would do to a nice fiberglass bathtub? So size matters. And so this is why you would practice on a demo to say, you know what, can I see myself being in $200 of margin per day? Picture myself, picture yourself, of course, right, the boat in the river, and you've got, so you rehearse, you're in the demo. I'm presupposing people are interested in, like I told my tequila buddy, he's trying to play guitar. I said, just play one string. There's 6 strings, I know, but just take one string and just noodle back and forth and get yourself a groove going on one string, one note. And what you do with that one note is you make it dynamic. You go a little light, then put an accent in it, a little light, an accent. Maybe it's just back and forth. Ding, 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 right? That's the downbeat. That's it. Now you're out. Now you're a guitarist. One lesson. I can teach somebody to play guitar in one lesson. Because they want to learn a song, though. Show me how to play Freebird. Well, did you have a glass slide? No, so show me how to play Freebird. And so I can show you how to play guitar. Would you like that? Oh, the last guitar lesson I taught, the kid was, now this is another thing. I met this kid who was, so maybe I'm dealing with the wrong age group because this kid was 17. Oh my God. I wish he was my kid. He's absolutely, totally rational. And he listened to me babble for like 2 hours. And he wanted me to teach him to play guitar. And I said to him, well, are you trying to get laid? Because most people play guitar so they can get laid. Have sex. That's what that means. And so I don't think he answered that, but I said, well, but if you are going to play guitar, why don't you play guitar the way you play guitar? So I said, well, his friend that he plays guitar with has all these pedals and all this shit. And I said to him, well, you know what? Your friend is on the trend. Your friend is in the world, in the matrix of all the cliche bullshit. Reverb, chorus, all that fucking shit. There are so many fucking apps and so many goddamn devices. I mean, when we were kids, we just had an Eventide. We didn't have all this fucking shit. You can make somebody sound, they have auto-tune now. Dude, you could just show up like a corpse at the studio and they can make you sound like something. They could give you fake tits, whatever you need. But in the old days, we had to, so I said, you just take the guitar and just kind of like look at it. Play one note and just say, okay, get a groove going on one note. And then just don't listen to anybody until you have to. Just do your own thing until you get so bored. Or you're either going to love playing guitar or you're not. You're either going to love trading or you're not. You're either going to love, if you love trading, you can't wait to open another demo. I'm just going to tell you that I'm a trading addict. So I would look, I was talking to this guy and he says, oh, well, they're going to shut down MT4. I'm like, whatever. There's more MT4s. I know of 200 brokers. I could go to their website right now. 200 brokers. I've been there. I've seen all that. That's all I'm doing. Just sitting there all day. Years ago, some of the brokers are still around. Unbelievable. Exness. Anybody trade Exness? 1001 leverage? One of my first brokers out of Russia. And Europeans aren't complaining. Europeans can trade all day long. The nanny bomb never hit Europe. These motherfuckers here in this country, holy shit. They got a rule for everything. They got a rule for everything. The filters come in. It's like the first asshole that sticks gum at the bottom of his desk. No more chewing gum in class, please, people. Some dumb fuck fucked up the whole landscape for everybody. But like a trader that can't make the market, if you're a good trader, you're good at living your life. Because if you're a trader, you have to deal with the hand you're dealt. Life's like that. You can't dial it into. I just heard an ad on the radio. Come buy insurance from us because what we'll do for you is we'll get you a nice fresh car. What the fuck? I mean, I'll buy my own car, thank you. Like, just give me the cash. Now they're going to team up with the auto companies and they're going to get that car at a deep discount and they're going to claim that, oh, here you go, fresh car for you. It's already signed up. In fact, you can pick out your car as you're signing the insurance, see? This way, when you blow up the car, we've already got the paperwork done. Boom, there's your fresh car. You can pick out your fresh car now. Now, what is that going to do for you psychologically? Make you drive like shit, right? I'm paying car insurance, full coverage. So when I blow up this car, right, I just add money to the account. It's already in it. Like my buddy said, hey, as long as there's money in the account, I can make it all back. Sure, right? $1 zillion. And that's another thing. I forgot a long time ago I went on this topic, but I kind of missed the fork in the road back there. It was about, I wanted to talk about the digital world. So you live in a world now where you can take, depending on the size of the chip in your digital camera, you can literally blow off 1 million pictures. And then you got to bring that to the edit environment. But in the olden days, you just had like a musket. I'm going to take a picture. Oh, I'm on my last shot. Now you got to really pay attention. And the other thing is that when you're trading the market, it's like you're doing a recording on tape where you want to capture it. You want it because it's a one-pass thing. So this moment is passing by you. In this moment on this trade, now you have until Friday. This is Wednesday night. So basically, you're right in the middle of the week right now. So there's typically a swing low in something. But if it's a swing low on the 5-minute chart, so there's really no, this is pure digital, right? I'm not going to call my broker on the phone analog and place an order. I'm not going to write down my trade on a piece of paper. We had the trade books. So I went to a seminar and they had trade books that said buy and sell. Literally had a column, buy and sell. So you keep tally on your trades. But you don't really have to. If you have if you can just one click trading, they call it. Of course, they make you sign the risk agreement. Well, that opens you up to a whole world of opportunity and frustration. But you should be able to. I think that somebody should be able to open up a demo account, start trading, and see that if they just pull the button over and over again for no apparent reason, that they might lose, they might win. But I wonder what is the motivation? And the people that come to the forex trading, maybe they just stumbled on YouTube. Maybe they never heard of it. It's completely possible that people that are attracted to it hear about it, and actually a lot of people don't even know about it. If you can't believe that, the people that know about it think that it's so popular on some level, and everybody knows all the people that do the videos out there, right? The canned videos, the people that are working for brokerage firms that do things, the people that do the classic, well, here's the entry because of this reason, that are just trading one ticket. And we don't know the size of that ticket, and we don't know, could we live off of one ticket trading? Could we live off of this stellar trade that we they call it stalking the market. So if you're a sniper, you stalk the market for your entry, right? And you sit there with your finger on the trigger, you nail that trade, and you're like, man, I've been waiting like 3 hours waiting for that thing to get right to there. Boom, no pennies, right? And you just do that trade. Or you hear that there's a signal to buy, and you put a 100 pip stop in, and you take a huge drawdown of $1,000 until you finally make money, and you make like $5,000, and you just like, wow, man, I was like $1,000 for a second there. Like this guy in the chat room says, he's bragging about, I made $400 from it. Yeah, dude, we babysat you through that fucking bitch. We said, don't touch the trade. Don't put in some, and he still wouldn't put in stops. The guy wouldn't put in, I said, put some stops on that shit. And I said, if anything, put some take profits on it. Get out of something, for God's sakes. At some point, right? But this is the thing. If you need somebody to blame, this is a great environment too. So all this stuff comes in, and you're attracted to the market because of the opportunity for you to use it as a tool to make your life a living hell, maybe. You don't realize it, maybe. Or something to go do because you don't like to be around people. That works for me. Like, I'd rather just sit with the market and listen to the crickets than go to a party where I don't think I agree with anybody anymore. I think I've tweaked myself too much. I just don't agree. So we can't, there's a bunch of shit you can't talk about. Even the music, like my buddy that shreds, they do like, they do a style of music. He plays on top. He plays with his brother, and they play a style of music that I don't think I could actually produce it, I think. But I don't think I'd have much to insert there. I could arrange it and produce it, but I don't think I'd want to be the guy that is on stage playing it. Because I'm not that guy. But I can see what the elements, so as you look in on the outside, there's another thing also. When you look into somebody else's trading style, you trade over their shoulder and you think, could I do what they're doing? Could I get in on that moving average crossover? Is that system for me? This bud's for you. Is that system for me? That's another question. So people come across the harmonic pattern, and it's very, no doubt, right? There's nothing more optically appealing than the Gartley pattern. It's absolutely fascinating. It needs a theme music, though. The Gartley needs a theme song. It needs a snippet. A little like an NBC kind of ding, 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 like some type of, when you see it on the chart, when it comes up, when that thing prints, or every time it repaints, it needs to have a nice bell sound comes in. Church bells, maybe. But this stuff's appealing, right? And then, so we're attracted to that trade, and then we trade that, and we lose money, and we're like, what the fuck is going on here, man? This is like the coolest. I mean, did you hear about these candlestick patterns? So you go to that one, and you do that, and you're like, Jesus Christ, I'm still getting killed. What the fuck? And I'm on 5 currencies. I don't understand why I'm losing. So I'm on 5 currencies. I'm on 5-minute charts, 10-minute charts, 4-hour charts. I'm on 5 currencies. I'm trading a moving average crossover system. I'm not sure how big I'm in, or I'm in one trade on each thing, and I'm running, I think, a wide stop because I don't want to get stopped out. I mean, you can only imagine the list, right? If you went through the list of a typical possibility of a trader's exposure to the market, not to mention the broker has like fucking how many instruments? So you've gone to the music store and you've got all these, they call them instruments, the currency pairs. So it's a perfect analog metaphor to music is trading. And because which instrument do I play? Well, the harmonica is like scalping, right? Put in your hand, a couple notes, you knock out a little melody. There, I just scalped the market. Yeah, I got a little jam here. Very cheap, right? Trading 1K scalping. Harmonica costs you all like 10 fucking bucks. The harmonica is the most popular instrument on the planet. That's the Eurodollar, the harmonica. You know, there, because it's cheap, it's handheld, and you can also play it with a brace while you're playing guitar. So the harmonica is king instrument on the planet. And the thing is, the guy that wants to play the French horn or something, he's gay or something. He has to be out of his mind, right? And so he's the guy in the timpani, right? Or the guy in the triangle. I always thought, well, he's the percussionist, but can you imagine being that's your gig? You play the triangle, that's your only. He's so good at it, though. Oh, he comes in right at the right time. You got to see this guy play triangle. And yeah, it's like that's a Gartley entry, right? They play the triangle. Well, there you go. That's a Gartley triangle. So it all comes together. Very synchronistic. See, it's a conspiracy. It's synchronicity is what it is. And so you need a signal to get in the market. And then, of course, if you manage the trade, you run a trailing stop or whatever that, then you're gonna manage that whole thing, right? And that's work too, right? You're gonna how tight do you run that stop? Do you let it go and all that stuff? And that's your whole trade, right? But did you trade big enough on that to make it worth its while of all that work? And then you do the next trade, and then you come back in the market, expose yourself to risk all over again, because you're only as good as your last trade, and you just made 1,000, or just made 10 grand. Can you make it again? Can you make another hit song? In the market, you could make another hit song. In the music world, this is where the market is better than being a musician. The market doesn't know who you are, and to be a musician professionally, people have to know who you are, or people have to come pay for your stuff or something you wrote. Say you published your music digitally on the internet, you still had to spend hours creating something that may not sell. That's a lot more work than placing pendings in the market that may not fill. So if you're trying to get this transfer over, you're trying to get stuff to match up, right? Because you're successful at your day job, right? You haven't killed anybody at work yet, and you're able to comply with most of the rules there. And then you come into the trading world. It's like, how can you get that to be like a job, right? So Akil Stokes says, well, you come in for work, you look at the charts and blah, 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 right? And you put and I guess that's, if you treated it like that, right? Or do you treat it like you're constantly looking at the market, looking for entry, and you know that the times that you got into early, you're forced to trade, that's when you got burned, but you fix that problem. And then you're on your merry way and you're making money. Whatever you're doing, you're just sitting there doing dumbass. You just are, so the trader I was talking to said that he made a bunch of money when he traded just by looking at the chart and going, looks like it's going up by, yeah, of course, right? Because now you're just trading with your gut, and you're just trading with what you see, and you're not like trying to put indicators on to make it say something else, to make the chart say something else to you. So you're playing music in a jazz band, you really like playing the market, because you really have to listen to the market. What is the market telling me? It's not done going down. So can I accommodate the market by putting limits spread out below to catch a possible bounce? Or should I sell right now and try to get into the mix of what's going on right now? So do I join the band now, or do I wait for the key to change, or wait for the bridge to come in? If I wait for the bridge and I come in, I could probably do that, right? If you know that you can do that because you're like, you know what, there's going to be space. I won't have to, I can see that there's a plateau, and it won't sound awkward that I'm coming in here, so I won't disturb the landscape of things. And you can see that on the chart. Like this is that spot, and I know my spot. So if you know your spot, when it appears, and maybe it's the downbeat because you're a buyer. So you're going to buy on the downbeat. The upbeats you sell. The market's upbeat and you're selling. So music's very much trading. And so the corollary in it, are you okay playing with the band? Now, I have been in bands where people argue about, and what they argue about, they never argue about jamming because there's no money in jamming. Well, unless you're and they weren't into money either. Grateful Dead they're like, come tape our shows. I saw a guy in college 30 years ago. He had a chest full of cassette tapes. He'd recorded every Grateful Dead show. It was every cassette. He had all cassette tapes. So the music. So the jamming part of it is really fluid. And it's ever changing. You're going with the next thing that's happening. Oh, you going there? I'm going there. You going there? I'm going there. I'll follow you. So I could follow somebody. And we always tell people that really sucked, people that would show up in the studio that they weren't that good. We'd say, you know what? Why don't you just play? We'll follow you. And we could do that. We could make somebody sound good because they only had a couple themes in their toolbox. So we would just follow them, and people would say, wow, that sounds great. Yeah, because we needed to have this guy play trumpet, but he couldn't hardly play it, but we wanted the sound of a trumpet. So we conned this guy to get a hold of a trumpet and play it, and then we just back him up, and people are like, wow, that sounds gorgeous. Yeah, because we're no matter what he does, we're good enough to accommodate him and come underneath him. So are you coming underneath the market with a order? Do you know where he's at in the rhythm? He's downbeat. You're buying that downbeat. You're selling the upbeat. And the reason why we didn't have a fight is because we didn't try to write a song. Now, if we tried to write a song because we were going to sell it, and as soon as the other guy that was in the band, really good bass player, fretless player, he was in a band. They almost got signed. This is a high-end jazz guy. Almost got signed, but guess what? You're not paying us enough to sign with you. Money, anger, fear, right? It's all there in that big basket. So that's the other problem with life, is that you need money to live, and you're trying to make money trading, and it's money. And the obstacle is you're trying to live off the obstacle. Does that even make sense? Right? That's very difficult to the other part of your brain that says, "Oh, what you're saying is you're dealing with something you need, but you've got to risk it. You're standing in front of money you need to risk to make more money." Well, to reduce the feeling of risk, because if there's no fear, it doesn't feel like risk. You would just rehearse and practice. And if you're afraid that you were going to forget your guitar solo on stage, you would just rehearse the fuck out of it so you could play it backwards. Just like these fuckers in the Army. What I didn't understand with this kid was, it just blows my mind all over to kind of think of how stupid this is, how stupid he is not to think that if you're in the Army, you have to be able to take your gun apart without looking at it. You have to be able to do shit in such a routine manner that you won't even fucking need to look at that. Because what if the lights are out and you need to fucking get that gun loaded? Trading's the same way. What if there's a situation, an opportunity? Do you have that market order ready to go? Do you at least have one market order you can, boom, hit the button, right? Do you know how to place landmines? Do you know how to place pending orders to capture the enemy at the other side? Okay, it's a fucking war, right? It's a war room. Put the fucking mines in the minefield. Don't worry, because we don't have to get Paul McCartney's wife to whatever take the mines out, right? Mines are good in the market. You have your limits in there, and you have your tactics, your strategy, your tactics, your backup plans, I know how to trade at the market because I could tell where the band's at and the beat of the music. Is it upbeat? Is it downbeat? Look at the rhythm of the 5-minute chart, right? Listen to the rhythm of the falling rain. The guy today was talking about market noise. Yeah, you could trade it. You can see the ripples that cause the waves, right? A ripple, a 5-minute chart spills into the 15. What I was trying to explain to him is the 5 into the 15 and the half hour into the hour into the 4. It's the fractals unfold into the higher time frames, right? You see something on the 5-minute, like here's a double bot. There's a little pullback here. Plus, look at the range on the. You're inside of a 10 pip range, maybe on the chart on the right side. The one on the left hasn't pulled back enough to buy yet. This one's a buy. This one isn't, for the reason that this has got a tighter order on it than this one, because look at the true range. Actually, I can't. I have to make these. But see, this is pulling back, so this is not a buy yet. Maybe this is a buy on a limit, but this was a buy at the market. Which is the best buy on your screen out of these two currency pairs, which are correlated because they're both against the yen? It's euro against the yen, dollar against the yen. Very simple, right? Practice buying that one on the right at the market and the other one on the limit. And that. Rehearse your, so you're going to play rhythm guitar and you're going to take a solo on top of it. So that market makes a run, it does a solo, but it comes back to the structure of the song. Come back to the chorus. Come back to the congestion. Whatever you need to do to make it okay to trade, I guess. Or have an approach to the market that includes the market's behavior. The market behaves and you accommodate it in some manner. The market makes a move, you make a move. It's a chess game of a bunch. If you're building a position, it would be a chess game of 50 moves, say. Market comes down, buy a little bit. Market goes up, sell a little bit, right? Come down, buy a little bit. Maybe you're hedging. Maybe you're just having fun, right? Here you say, well, I got a buy limit sitting. I bought one in the market here when I got a buy limit. And the more you work, the less you risk. Now, if you buy a standard lot and you wait, and you buy a standard lot and you wait, holy shit, you're done trading for the day. If you don't have enough money, you just put down 2%. So the 2% risk of your account, that's great. But that's the maximum risk. Start off with 0.001. I've said this in videos before, Chris. I don't have the video that I would need to do. And hopefully every time I do a video, it's some kind of angle on thinking about the market. There is no trading course for trading because everybody has, some people don't even want to trade. They just want to bitch about their life. They don't want to think about rehearsing guitar. They just want to say, this guitar sounds like shit. Well, you didn't even tune it up. Don't get me started on people that can't tune their guitar. Bob Dylan, number one. Listen to Bob Dylan. I don't care if this guy's a fucking genius. Somebody should have grabbed that fucking thing out of his hands and tuned it up, for God's sakes. Jesus Christ, man. But, you know, being a perfectionist is also one of these things. I'm a recovering perfectionist because the market's just so perfectly imperfect. It's counterintuitive. There's so much wrong with it. It's a bad relationship, for God's sakes, all day long, and twice on Tuesday. But it's a fucking riot. So here we're coming into London Open, and so let's see what happens to the market. And I don't know what to say, man. I just like to bitch, and I think people love to hear me bitch because we're all pissed off. Nothing's the way we want it to be. I can't think of it. Actually, when stuff turns out okay, there was a time when if stuff turned out okay, I thought, I think I'm going to die in a car crash. Why is that? Well, because shit's just going too good lately. This luck's going to run out. There's a lot of superstitions. I mean, when I was a kid, the thing was if you step on a crack, you break your mother's back. And of course, if you didn't like your mom, I guess you were stepping on cracks all day. But you would actually, people would avoid cracks in the sidewalk. This is before cell phones that you would be staring into. You wouldn't see the cracks. You would just trip over them and die now. But, there was a time when superstition was the way to go, right? Because this would be like the Garley pattern of old day. Something you can kind of count on in the back of your mind, give you a false sense of security. So now that I'm thinking about all the olden days and modern days, and for God's sakes, this Windows 10 tablet, it should have come with a hammer, because if it asked me one more time to update, now that I said, okay, bitch, go ahead and update, now it's saying we can't install the update. I'm like, and your problem is? I didn't ask for updates. In fact, I turned the updates off. And now it's going to argue with me. So I got to argue with my fucking... How am I arguing with a robot? How do you know your life's tragically annoying? But see, that's because I'm spoiled. I don't live in Venezuela. I'm not eating my neighbor's dog for dinner. So everybody's rich. Even if you blew up your account, you're rich, because you can still eat dinner. Not to mention all the burn victims, all the people that really have it tough, right? These people that out of no fault of their own get hit by, a drunk driver, whatever have you, just bad shit's going on, right? Okay, top of the hour's coming. But we're long. We're in. We don't have to add. Now, another thing here is I use the limits below to add on to a position. So if I'm getting in at the market, now if I'm babysitting the market, I'm like, oh, look at downbeat, buy, downbeat, buy. So if I buy only downbeats and I build a position on market orders, maybe I don't have to have the limits, maybe never fill. But that's the backup plan. In other words, right there, so when I play guitar, I got a guitar pick in my mouth, which I notice looks very awkward in photos. But I'm not the only one doing that. Because I can't hold a pick. I can't hold a guitar pick and pick with my fingers, but I can pick with my fingers great. I can play like pure fingers. I can play like flamenco guitar, right? But I don't need a pick for that, so I put it in my mouth. And that's the thing. You have this kind of way you do shit. So maybe you have a market order and you got this limit, right? So you have this, your hand, you're trading, you're plucking the market with market orders, but you have the guitar pick for strumming, that whole limit chord, all those limits. So you have this approach that includes two angles. You're coming at it, and this is what in Tai Chi, the Tai Chi guy that I paid a bunch of money to beat me up taught me, is that you have to come back different every time. So if you're fighting somebody, when you say you fight them for like 10 seconds or 3 seconds or 40 seconds, you come back as a different fighter. You have different techniques and different strategies, not the same person twice. The market's not the same person twice. So you have to have this chameleon forex, right? .com. You have to be adapting and constantly, hey, I'm this guy here. I'm reptilian trader now. I'm sniper. Not to say you can't be a sniper on your market order. You can play sniper, right? But when push comes to shove, you got to have a backup plan. Like if they pull you over for drunk driving, you got to have a gun, right? So you have to have an escape hatch. You have to have an egress. And so it's either the stop and you have another way to, do you want to participate in the market on some level of X margin? Now, if you're trying to maintain a position and that's going to cost you so much margin, you have to be prepared for that. It's like if you're going to go on a long plane ride, you have to have enough fuel in that plane to somehow refuel in the air if you're not going to pull over and put fuel in the plane. So, but that, so you're trading your account and you start off with $10,000 at the beginning of the day, and you know that you can be in a drawdown of $300, right? You've done that trade before where you've been down 300 and you make 700. Okay, you can do that trade. There's a guy doing that trade. He's down 18 grand, then he makes 18 grand at the end of the video. He's in $2 million position. And he does that trade, but he knows he's got $290,000 in the account. And he's like, you know what? Okay, I'm down a little bit. And he's trading without stops, so he's going to get out apparently when he's wrong, or he's going to hedge against it or something. But if you rehearse that mentally, or because you want to probably rehearse that on a demo, just do, you know what, I'm doing this thing, this is what I'm going to do. Can you repeat that though? Do you know the pattern that you need to see to repeat that situation? And when it starts working for you, when the idea starts to make money, do you add to the idea and then fuck it up? In other words, especially in music, a lot of bands have done this. Their first album's fucking great. Oh my God, they don't give a fuck. They're like, hey man, check this lick out. Next album, they're getting paid. They got in advance. Now the record company's like, are you done with that album yet? Well, that sounds like a creative environment. You got a gun to my head? Yeah, dude. Come on. Where's the album? So, you know, the band's like, well, fuck, man. You know, we need more drugs. We can't write an album with these cheap drugs. So the first two albums a band does are good because no money's involved. See how money fucks up everything? And here you are trading money. And trying to make money with money. Pretty brutal, huh? Like if you explain this to somebody in just without telling them you're trading, and you just strip out the labels and put in concepts there and say, well, how would you feel about going to a job where, like I said, you pay to work there. You give your boss $100 at the beginning of the day. Can I work here? Can I use your gear? Can I rent your office? So it's talking to somebody about prop house. You're renting somebody's office. You're going to click their mouse. You're on their servers. You're on their electricity bill. So you're leasing an office to make more money. Well, why not just put $100 in your account every day? Every week, put $100 in your account. Now, of course, that takes discipline not to blow up the account. You're renting space in the market. Why aren't you adding money to your account? If you're not that good a trader, add money. Just keep adding money to your account until you get it off the ground. That's how they do movies. Anybody see the making of movies? How much money it costs, how much money they lose, and how much money they do it on a budget? They don't even fucking get the movie. The movie's actually not even done. They just go, okay, just wrap it up. Some of the most famous movies in the world were done on a shoestring. And music, the movie business is dying. It's all digital bullshit now. CGI. Everything is bullshit. And people know it. Look at real artwork. Look at stuff that's carved. Look at high-end pigments on real canvas. Can't touch it. Nobody can touch that. Digital will never touch that. No robot on the planet is going to do artwork. Never going to happen. It could copy a piece of artwork. Is it going to think for itself and have some terrible idea? Original and terrible idea. The original idea that's fits somewhere. So the originality of the idea or never been done before. So there's power in uniqueness. There's power in diversity. There's power in the the outliers, right? This is Glidewell, 10,000 hours, the outliers. Or the black swan may be, a lot of people will tell stories of how they arrived at whatever, and it's just by they would say luck, but it's about being there for the opportunities. So you're trading, and because you're in the market, you have an opportunity to make money. But if you're totally not in the market, and you don't even have any pending orders in there, your chance for opportunity isn't there. So you're never going to meet that person unless you go out into that world and climb around and take a risk. Of course, there's another risk there too, right? Take somebody into your life, into your world, and then you take a risk there. But see, the internet allows you to be anonymous. So this nice thing about it's kind of a risk-free environment as far as that type of risk, right? Nobody's going to pull a gun on or knife on you on the internet. And trading is kind of like that, but you feel like the market's pulling a gun on you. You feel like the market's coming after your stops. If you put stops in and you see that, like here, like I said, trading at the market here. So you bought, like I said, I can't buy anymore till they stop me out. Can't buy anymore till they stop me out. Now, if you have that in your mind, a disciplined trader says, I only trade this much. I buy here, and if they stop me out, okay. But if I see another opportunity, now I've got dry powder to take up the next opportunity and do what I know what to do when I need to do it. Do I have a fearless execution where I flawlessly execute my trade? This is Mark Douglas' quote. Can you flawlessly execute your trade without even thinking twice about it? You could if you rehearse that trade, certainly in a demo account. And he talks about trading demos. Yeah, I think you need to know that your broker's going to actually fill that ticket too. Or how their spread behaves and what it would be like to trade there. And maybe their demo isn't quite like a real money account, but at least you can deal with the heartache of being right and wrong with fake money first, right? Okay, looks like they're going to stop me out here. So I wait till they stop me out, and I'll buy one more at the market, and maybe I'll put a limit below, and I still got my penny limits below there. Not on this chart, my other chart. But just imagine you are prepared to buy if you're a buyer, and you're prepared to sell if you're a seller. You're locked and loaded. You're ready to go on that one chart on that one thing. But the digital world does allow you to live, to make digital money. So all the money we make now is digital. But that's fine because you can buy real things with digital money, right? Bitcoin. You could take a Bitcoin, cash it in, and buy real shit. You can buy a house, you can buy a car. And you can buy it in a way that doesn't involve any more paperwork than you would so the world's changing very quickly. And some people are out of a job because of it. Because the robots have taken over their job. And they're going to take up more of their jobs because, the more that the government comes in and tries to sanitize the world, you won't be able to do that job anymore because it's like if you tried to... there's some kind of film you can't buy in the state. You can't buy certain kinds of black and white film because it's so toxic to make the chemicals involved in making those films are outlawed. A lot of things you just can't do anymore. I mean, but that's fine. So you work around that, but you're working around that the whole time, really. And in these markets, you're always working around that problem. So you have to have a solution for the situation that's in front of you. I think that's the key is having some type of, you need to be a problem solver. Because it's not trading is not complicated. It's like it's confusing if you don't. In other words, it takes a lot of math. As far as when I say math, I mean you have to add up how much you have to look at your account and figure out how many trades you could put on. And also, you have to be able to wait for the trades to die out, the ones that are wrong, and then put in the backup plans are about. So here I'm about to get filled on limits. As this drops down, I'd be getting filled on limits right here. And this guy here, I'm long this one. I'm going to buy another one of these because this one has a buy signal. And that one doesn't. This one's coming into my limit bank. And this one I'm going to buy at the market. This guy's pulling back. And this one I'm already in at the market. But I'm going against the yen. So I'm expecting the yen to falter against these. The yen's going to go weak against these two guys. But the euro is stronger against the yen right now. So I'm getting... At this time of night right now, just before Europe opening, I'm getting this is my strongest buy at the market. And I bought here, and I'm waiting to get filled on limits. And my targets here may be 8 pips, 12 pips, 10 pips. So I scalp out of this one here, and this guy gets filled on limits, and you get it's harder to trade two currency pairs, but just doing it to say, if you are sitting from the market, you can see one's a buy and one's a not, right? One's not a buy and one's a buy.